Hi guys, it's Sam. Happy 2019. Welcome or welcome back, wherever you're coming from. I have a list of the books that I read in 2018 because I get so many questions on Instagram all the time. I'm talking about books, I'm posting about books, whether I'm reading them or listening to them on Audible. Audible has been the best investment of my life. So I'm always posting about them. Follow me. And so I get heaps of questions, and instead of me writing back 1,000 times and putting up lists, I kind of thought, right, I'm going to go over them a little bit and talk about the ones that were really good and not talk about the ones that weren't so good. So I had a goal for myself to read 12 books in 2018, and I had a tally going, right? And I smashed it. I did 20. But the point is, like, you can have a great goal of reading heaps of books. And these are personal development and business kind of books, and spiritual and fun as well. It's a mixture, but it's not like fiction, right? I sometimes read fiction. It has to be like something that I really want to read. And usually if I'm on a long holiday, kind of lying by the pool, that's when I will read a big fiction book. So personal development, business, and kind of bios are where we're at. But the goal is not to read like, oh, I want to read 50 books this year and smash out that and not really take anything in. It's to, obviously, if you want to and you're interested in personally developing yourself and educating yourself and informing yourself and just being a better human, you know, if you want to grow in your business, if you want to like, if you relate to someone and then you want to take like a piece of their story and you're at this level and they were at that level, and from here you can then go on, whatever you take, whether it's inspiration or action, in fact, that's the point. Read and then act. Read and then act, or listen and act. So a lot of the times I will listen to a book while I'm walking on Audible. I'll be walking and I take like an hour or an hour and a half sometimes, depending on where I go, and I listen to books. And the thing about that is I end up running home, or I end up having to stop the book because I want to act on so many things. So I get home and I'm almost listening back to everything I've just listened to because of the things I want to act on. Or I stop the audio, stop walking, get the notes out on my phone and write down all the points from what I've just listened to so that I can act on them as soon as I get home. It's so important to act on what you read. So yeah, I think you really need to, there's some books that you can really read like one book that whole year and study it and highlight it. And I mean, people that are precious about books are going to hate me, but like, that's what I love to do, is like dog ear it and put bookmarks in at different spots and post-it notes all over them. Whatever you need to do to get the most out of that book, that topic, that chapter, that sentence even, right? So yeah, I could go on and on and on, but the point is, act on what you read, act on the inspiration straight away, because that's what true entrepreneurs do, right? They actually execute. So number one book, and this is in no particular order, I just wrote them down because I wrote the list, like the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. And then I realized like halfway through the year that I wasn't keeping track of them, but I went back and checked it all. So number one was What I Know For Sure by Oprah. I mean, it's Oprah, it's a great book. Can I say it's not groundbreaking if it's Oprah? But you know what? I didn't get many action points out of it. I got like, oh yeah, I agree, right? I got a lot of that, and I got a lot of insight into her life, and that's cool, but I think we all kind of know her story. If you love Oprah, you will love it. But there are better books on this list for what I needed, and what I needed was assertiveness last year. Assertiveness. The year before that, it would have been like spirituality big time. Maybe the year before that, even again, like feminism, like being okay with being a woman and stuff like that. But last year definitely was assertiveness and action. And this year, it's all about me owning all of the things I've cumulatively learnt over the past 34 years and bring it into major action. So like major push forward, major like goals, absolutely kicking ass this year. So yeah, so hashtag own it is definitely like my thing for 2019. Number 2, The Magic of Not Giving a F by Sarah Knight, which was actually really good. If you've read Mark Manson, his book, I read that last year. It was great. This is similar, but I don't know. It's a different version. It's a female version, but it's still different and it's still cool. I like it. The Magic of Not Giving an F by Sarah Knight. The 10X Rule by Grant Cardone. I read this really early in the year and I'm so glad that I did, because a lot of people like jumped on the Grant Cardone bandwagon after that, and I felt like I knew exactly what they were talking about, so I was able to like remember and be re-inspired. Sometimes when you are out of the loop of something, you're like, yeah, he sounds cool, and you never act on it. So it was nice to be part of it. It was like finding Gary Vee before Gary Vee was like Gary Vee, you know, and being able to acknowledge and understand and appreciate and remember and be re-inspired. So apart from all that, 10X Rule is such a it is such a boss book. Like it really gets you moving. I love it. Grant Cardone. He's got another book actually. It's a really thin little book called The Millionaire Method or something, or How to Be a Millionaire. It's tiny. Go check it out. And follow him on Instagram and stuff like that if you're into someone kind of like yelling at you a little bit and being like, you need to toughen up, and in a different way to Gary Vee. And his wife Elena is amazing as well. Okay, number 4 is like a complete turn. It's Holifest. It's a tiny little book, kind of like I don't think it's well known, because I posted about it and tagged the author Noni Boon in it, and she messaged me and she's like, how did you hear about this? And I was like, okay. But actually I was gifted it from a business partner of mine, and it was the best gift ever. It was a small read. I read it in Bali, so it was like the perfect time to be reading it. And it's about like manifesting using your whole body and your whole life. So spirit, body, mind, physical, manifesting using every resource that you have available and actually making it work, stick, be real, last, sustainable, all that kind of stuff. So Holifest, it's a great book, and it's a short one too. Number 5, Judgement Detox by Gabby Bernstein. And I have talked about this before on my Instagram, but I feel like Gabby did like a Star Wars on this book, that this maybe should have been like the first book that she wrote. But in saying that, she went through a lot to write that book, or she went through a lot that then helped her to write that book. So I understand why it came out when it did. But I just feel like her other books have been more valuable to me. And that's not a judgment. It's my own personal experience of that book. So I guess it is a judgment. Everything's a judgment. But if you're feeling like you're hating on people and you're jealous of people, or you're holding yourself back because of fear, like all the things that you're judging yourself or judging others on, and it's stifling your success, then you got to read that. Or if it's stifling your spirituality, and even like understanding how you can still be a spiritual person with judgment issues and working through it, then read that. Number 6, it's The One Thing by Gary Keller. This is probably an old school book. I'm not sure when it was published, but it really is the one thing. Like, it's such a good book. It's like just for hone in. Sometimes, especially in this day and age of being like drawn to bright shiny objects all the time, you tend to want to boil the ocean, and you just need to like bring it all back into like streamlined focus and do one thing really freaking well. And that book will help you to do that. And just it clears out the clutter of your mind as well. It helps you to go, I'm cool doing one thing and I'm going to master it, and it might take me time. So I might mute these people on Instagram in the meantime while I focus on what I need to do. So great book. One Thing, Gary Keller. Okay. Girl Wash Your Face by Rachel Hollis. This is amazing, and I really judged this book before I read it. And I think because I was like, this girl seems really naive, and then I got into it, and it's so like raw. It's so like raw and real, and actually when you get into it, it's actually really relatable for a lot of people, I think. And it has been for me and my friends and the people I've recommended it to in my business. So Girl Wash Your Face is great. I really, really love it. In fact, I've already pre-ordered her next book. I can't remember what it's called, but I'm excited. Rachel Hollis, you rock. Okay, Mastering Your Mean Girl by Melissa Ambrosini. She's an Australian girl. And again, I did kind of judge this because I think sometimes when the author reads their own book, their intonations, the way they speak, can sometimes get in the way of the message that maybe you needed to read on the page. So I listened to this instead of read it in book form. And I just had to like put aside her voice and the way she says things, because being Aussie, I don't know if I was like, she sounds like she's putting it on, or well, how do I say it? She sounds like she sounded to me, it sounded as though she was telling me what to do. So I had to use my resources of Judgement, Detox, and you know, Girl Wash Your Face, and all this stuff that I've read before, and you know, even going so far back as when I read Light is the New Black and Rise Sister Rise, and just owning and appreciating every woman on the planet and every person on the planet, but like every woman has a story to tell and every woman has a particular way of telling their story. So Melissa, I appreciate you, and your message was great. So a really good book, not the best one on my list. I would still put Girl Wash Your Face above that if you want that kind of like finding your inner girl power and hashtag owning it. But you might relate to Melissa better than I did. I relate to Rachel better, but I appreciate everything Melissa had to say. And in fact, you'd think I would probably relate to her more because of like my dance background as well, and just like being Australian as well, but just different strokes for different folks, basically. Still a great book, still took a lot out of it. Little reminders more than like big epiphanies. Okay, My Thoughts Exactly by Lily Allen. I love Lily so much, and I do and I don't understand why she gets so much flack sometimes, so I'm not going to focus on that. What I'm going to focus on is Lily has devoted effing fans, and I have been a shitty fan for not like listening to her recent stuff, but after reading this and during reading this, I definitely went down a Lily Allen memorial route and just like fully immersed myself back into her music. And I love her story. What a champion. Like, Lily, you do you, and following her on Instagram is freaking exciting. I love everything she does. I love her creativity, I love her fearlessness, and her story is actually really interesting. So worth a read. She does not hold back. These are literally her thoughts exactly. You Are a Badass at Making Money by Jen Sincero. And am I saying Sincero or Sincero? Chinchero? Whatever. Jen is amazing, and she is a boss as well, and I definitely recommend this as one that you listen to, because her voice kind of like pep talks you really, really well. And it's if you've read You Are a Badass, her first book, the yellow cover one, this is the green cover one, also epic, and it just like it gets your ish together with money so well, and it will address a lot of the things that I'm sure we all consider and think about and halt on, and you know, that stop us making bank. So if you have money story, if you have an unhealthy money story, you definitely need this book. Okay, the next one is a little strange for some, but it's totally normal if you know me. I read a book called Witch by Lisa Lister. If you know of Lisa Lister, she has written a lot about the feminine uprising, I guess, or just femininity and feminine issues, and I don't want to even call them issues, it's feminine nature. She's written about women a lot, and she posts a lot on Instagram about the menstrual cycle and about her own menstrual cycle and her own like feminine journey, her female journey in this world, and I love it. And it is confronting to me, even as someone who loves it, but it's confronting because I was afraid and I was in the dark for so long, and this book actually helped me so much to listen to my body a bit more and go, I mean, there are potions and there's procedures, and it's like quite an informative book. But when I sat with it a lot, usually in the bath, it made me step up and stop and think about my body. And from that, I went to a naturopath because I knew I just wasn't feeling right, and I got myself off the pill, which I should have done a long time ago, and no one had ever told me that I should do that. And I've ordered her other book, Code Red, or Love Your Lady Landscape, or something like that as well. So I ordered both of those, and I'm going to read them because I and women who maybe are the same have been maybe hiding, or like, I really wanted to just be a man in a man's world. Do you know what I mean? Like, without being a man, I unconsciously was changing my personality to like boss up, and you know, every time I felt sick, I'd be like, you're a pussy, and you know, stuff like that. Like, I now fully appreciate, I've always wanted to, my soul, spirit, everything inside of me has wanted to appreciate the journey that we go on daily as women, and understand it, because I never even really knew how to track a period. But together with that book and the help of my naturopath, I've fully been able to like go on a health journey, and being okay with who I am, and being actually like where we are now, owning who I am 110%, and actually like explaining everything that I was learning to my partner, and seeing how supportive and responsive he was to that, and like, oh, that's so interesting, has been really cool. So yeah, you'll know if you need to read that. Okay, I read a book called Sweet Little Lies. I found it at the op shop, and it's by Lauren Conrad. I don't know if it was like part of a sequel of books and I've picked it up at the wrong point, but it was basically, if you like The Hills, or if you started off with Laguna Beach and you know who Lauren Conrad is, then you might enjoy it. It was just a quick little read and fluffy bit of slice of LA basically, and I can relate in some senses because, you know, I love thinking about America. I've been a lot and I go a lot, but I love thinking about it for some reason. I feel like there's something about LA and of course New York that gives you such confidence that I think I want to tap into that often. That's why I think about it often. So yeah, it was an interesting little read, but it's just kind of like escapism. Very quick to read as well. Motivation Manifesto by Brendon Burchard. Now I don't have, this is probably like such a boring video because I don't have the books, but I have this one because it's, I love this. Look how, this is such a good book to gift. Like, look how cool that looks. It's like a leather kind of cover, and it's just like, look, it looks, you know what I'm saying? It looks expensive. It looks kind of like a Bible. And it is. It's the 9 Declarations to Claim Your Personal Power by Brendon Burchard. I don't even know if I'm saying that. Burchard. I love him. I love how he writes. He's a freaking wordsmith and makes you feel and motivates you. Honestly, he does with his words too. It comes out of the page. But I can't listen to his videos on Instagram because I'm like, hey, it's Brendon Burchard, and I'm like, whoa, it's a lot. So I love the guy, but it's funny how you can only digest certain bits of certain people, and like, that's just a silly mindset judgment thing. I'm sure if there was something I really wanted to learn from him in a video, I would go and listen to it and deal with it. But a great book. I come back to this often. I actually haven't highlighted it. I use a pencil because I just think it's so pretty that I want to like not put other colors with it and mess it all up. And it has one of these inbuilt bookmarks. Why don't all books have that? So good. Anyway, great book. I highly recommend it. It's totally giftable. And it's, yes, poetic and powerful. Love it. Okay, so The Fictional Woman by Tara Moss. She's like, is she Canadian Australian? She used to do a TV show about murder or something, murder like mysteries or something like that in Australia. And The Fictional Woman is, she's basically, it's the cover, you might have seen it. It's, so I packed all my books away because we live in a tiny little apartment. I get out books and then pack them away because we had a massive bookshelf in our old house, full of books. So now we have boxes of books, and then we got robbed and things got moved around. So yeah, I'm just trying to streamline everything. That's why I don't have the books. Long explanation, but you may have seen this cover because it's her face. She's also an ex-model or still a model. Also a recognizable face in like the feminist movement, if you want to call it that. Like, she's just a real amazing woman. And I also followed her for a time on Instagram. She's beautiful, yes, but she's like super intelligent. It's a story about through her modeling days and then kind of converting to being a writer. She was always a writer, but like believing it and then putting her books out there, and how she was perceived, and how, I mean, it's all those stories that we're hearing so much of at the moment about how women are treated so unfairly often and have been for a really long time, and how that can affect a woman's career. And just her story is just really interesting, sad, and also like really sadly relatable. And also you just want to change things. And this is why I think like I am a feminist, because I am female and because I do read things like this. And, you know, I'm not standing on a box and burning my bra anywhere. I don't think it's to that point anymore. But I do think that if I have a chance to say, actually, I don't believe that's true, I get that you can have that opinion. But maybe if you like think of it this way, and they're like, oh. So, you know, just the conversations that I had with my partner, Ben, through reading this book was even really interesting. And it's no one's fault, I guess, that they think like that. It was someone's fault at the beginning who like decided to make society a certain way. Anyway, this is not a video about feminism. I just think it's a really interesting book. So whether you are male or female, to actually take a look at these female stories that are shaping where we're going now and have shaped some of your favorite personalities. She's an incredible, intelligent writer, human being, advocate of all things amazing. Yeah, I just don't want to get into it too much, so moving right along. Okay, Mac 2, something with your hair on fire, I think it was called, by Richard Bliss Brooke. I don't know the guy, so I don't feel any allegiance, but I do like to be nice to people. I just think it was very meh. It wasn't, I mean, a title like that, Mac 2, something with your hair on fire, you expect that it's going to be a bit more, yeah, stick to Grant Cardone, I think. Get Your Ish Together by Sarah Knight is obviously her other book, also amazing. She's just a really cool chick, obviously got another story of her own to weave into all of that. Kind of along the same vein as Jen Sincero. I like both of them equally. Okay, anything she can do, I can do better. Now, I didn't finish this book. Yeah, probably halfway. It's quite wordy. Another one that I found at the op shop, and again, I must have been really drawn to like female power or empowerment kind of books. It's The Truth About Female Competition. It is really interesting, but I'm still reading it, so it's like not quite finished. Rachel Oakes Ash. Yeah, it's a lot to take in, but it's relatable in a lot of ways, and I'm kind of waiting for the how-to part. The like, okay, this is how this, she's saying all the truth, but it's like truth, and I kind of want something that says, but it's okay, and here's how you deal with it. And maybe I just need to like read it in a better headspace, not sure, but it's a cool older book. But yeah, she's an Australian lady, and interesting. If you're doing a study on feminism, like there's 3 books already that will help you with that. Okay, If You're Not First, You're Last, another great one by Grant Cardone, kind of getting you into, not kinda, definitely getting you into like action mode, and just helping you to hustle and not be the person that says, do you know what, I'm just gonna rest. If you want to be first at anything, if you want to be the best at anything, if you want to have the best business you possibly can have, you need to read that or listen to that. I suggest listen because of the way he talks, and he does like ad lib when he records his books. He does like add his own 10% that isn't written in the books, which I really like because it makes him explain different scenarios a little bit better. Busy Phillips, some of you would only remember her from Dawson's Creek. Others of you know exactly who I'm talking about because you're a fan, and you might have just recently become a fan and found her because of her Instagram. And maybe previously her Snapchats, but Insta stories is where it's at. She's just putting all of her life up there, and she gained a lot of press and publicity and followers, I guess, from being really real and authentic online. And she's a great actress. She's comedic, she's sexy, and her story is really interesting. Another one that's like Lily Allen, like she does not hold back. And you know, certain names are dropped and stuff like that, which makes it even more interesting, because if anyone's into pop culture and movies and music like I am, I just find it really interesting to like hear about how the whole thing kind of plays together, and especially from someone as cool as her. So I totally dig that and respect it. It's the book, by the way, is actually called This Will Only Hurt a Little. I actually started another one, Jump and Your Life Will Appear, I believe, by Nancy Levin. It's really like so far so deep. Jump and Your Life Will Appear, Nancy Levin.
What you already...
An inch-by-inch guide to making a major change. It's a little bit biographical at the beginning, I believe, but she's getting into like how you just need to make a major change, and how it sometimes is going to be a journey. It's not going to happen overnight, although it can. And then last but not least, I have just started reading The Year of Yes by Shonda Rhimes. Some of you might know her from Grey's Anatomy, Scandal. She wrote those shows. She's raw, honest, how to be a working mum. I can't relate, but I can understand. How to actually, the whole point of this book is that her sister said to her, you never say yes to anything. And it hit her hard, and she thought, right, I'm going to say yes to everything that scares me, or that's inconvenient, or that is holding me back from being the best mother, the best example, the best friend, the best sister. Like, just saying yes to things to come out of your shell and really like thrive. She says how to dance it out, stand in the sun, and be your own person. I really like it, and this was a gift a couple of years ago, but I just wasn't ready to read it. I wasn't ready because I wanted to, like, obviously the title, The Year of Yes, I wanted to like have a year of yes. So I now am ready. I'm now reading this, and it also came with the gift. I don't know if you can buy it as a pack, but it came with this. Isn't this just so adorable? Again, it's kind of like a leather but softer kind of bound cover, and it's a full journal. Like, it's substantial, and there's literally every day the yes I handled today, what I gained by saying yes today, what were the dark and twisty parts of the yes, you know, how do I want to feel by the end of the year, like little things along the way to just keep you in it and focused on that commitment that you made to yourself or that you made to others to say yes. And I had a year of no before, and saying no to people because I was a doormat for people, and I would just bend over backwards for people who didn't appreciate me. So I definitely had a year of saying no, but I had to have that so I could have a year of yes, saying yes to all the better things, the good quality things, to have a good quality life. So yeah, they're my book recommendations, or really, that's what I read in 2018. And there are a couple in there that I really enjoyed. I'll have them all below in the description box, so anything that tweaked your interest, you can go and check them out, either on Audible or however you listen to books. Maybe you can find them on YouTube, I don't know. Or go and buy them, because there's nothing like the touchy-feely, bend the pages, smell it, get it into you, go sunbake, which I might go do. Go on holiday and read a good book. I will probably do this every year from now on, because I do read a lot and I do get asked what I read a lot. And I should probably do one for movies as well, because I watch a lot of films and I really enjoy it, and I'm giving Ben a bit of an education. Every movie we watch, I'm like, okay, so who's that actor? I don't know why. It's not important, but I'm just into that stuff. Same with music, like I can talk in lyrics. Oh, my brain. But I will be doing this more often, and anything that you guys want to see in 2019, please just let me know. Like, leave some suggestions and ideas, or what questions, what you want to see in 2019, drop it below, because I hear that, and I will be posting a lot more this year and kind of shaking it up and not being so like structured and perfect. Not that I was ever perfect. I'm not a beauty guru, but I just want to keep it real with you guys and put it out there for you, because sometimes it's the simplest things that you can gain the most from, and that's what I want for you guys. Anyone that follows me, I want them to be able to shop their own wardrobe and style up something that they feel comfortable in themselves in, or maybe like all the best places to shop from that can speak to your style, knowing that you don't have to buy a million and one things to always be in fashion, or to style your home. That's something I really want to do a lot more. That's like my main like passion, but living here, it's hard. I mean, come on, I'm very, very lucky to live here, but coming from our own little house that we renovated, we had a lot more space, even though it was little, to moving to a 1-bedroom apartment. The view I have out here is amazing. Right now I'm literally looking at the ocean from a high-rise building, which is cool. But yeah, we do want to move this year. We do want a house this year. This book and everything that I do around this and everything I do around my businesses is really going to propel that and to make it a reality, a house a reality. And then from there, I'll be able to dive into more interior stuff with you. But in the meantime, you can head over to my blog, because there's plenty of posts about all my interior loves over there. I also want to help you guys with business, with questions, with inspiration, motivation, entertainment as well. So all of those things. I hope you guys have an amazing year, whether you're watching this in 2019 or 2025, I don't know. But if you haven't read any of these books and you want them, have a look below, and while you're there, hit the subscribe button for me. And if you want to be notified when I upload, because I am going to be posting more, just hit the little bell as well. That will notify you exactly when I've posted, and you won't miss out. And you can follow me on my socials if you want to see more. Okay, everyone, have an amazing day. I will talk to you soon. Bye.